For this task, we're going to have the algebra, the graphics window, and the 3D graphics window all open. To make sure those are open, we're going to the three bars to drop down, and for view, make sure you have algebra checked, graphics checked, and 3D graphics checked. You can close that by hitting the three bars. Alright, and basically we're going to start with three sliders. Now I'm going to just pinch my windows a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to narrow this window a little bit, and I'm going to go in the graphics window, hit the move graphics view up top, and I'm going to kind of move that down because I'm really only interested in quadrant 1. Alright, and because I want things as big as 10, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to pinch so that I have the uh, visual of a 10 in the x-axis. I'm going to be placing points using the 3D XYZ mode, and I'm going to create points that way for the base of my rectangular prism. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to hit sliders and create three sliders. Slider, I'm going to tap in there and rename it L, and I'm going to keep them all lowercase so that it's easier to access later. I'm going in the minimum and making that 0.5, the maximum 10, and the increment 0.5. Click OK. I'm going to do the same thing for the width and the height. Still on my slider tool, I tap there and make this a W, and go from a minimum of 0.5 to a maximum of 10, increment by 0.5. And now I need the height as well, so I use my slider tool again, name this one H, and again going from a minimum of 0.5 to a maximum of 10, incrementing by 0.5. Alright, now I'm going to be placing points using those. First of all, I'm going to use 0 for my z value for the 4 points of the rectangle for the base. So going into my first point, and it's going to be 0, 0, 0. Press return, and then the second one is going to be the length, comma, 0, comma, 0. And the next one is going to be the width. Alright, and so that's going to be 0, comma, W, comma, 0. And then we're going to basically put the fourth corner in there, which is going to be the length, width, and 0. So length, comma, width, comma, yep, I've got 2 commas there, comma, 0. And now I have my 4 points. Now I'm not seeing them on my 2D mode, so I'm going back to my arrow tool and just pushing this up. Now to change these a little bit, I'm going to, on my arrow tool, I'm just going to change these so they're not all the same. Alright, and so now I want to create a rectangle using A, B, D, C back to A. So I'm in the 2D window, tap the polygon tool, I'm going A, B, D, C, back to A to create my rectangular base. Alright, and now what I want to do is pick and tap in the 3D window and pick this tool, and I want to select the fourth one down, extrude to a prism or cylinder. So I tap that, I go in my I'm in my 3D window, so I'm going to tap the center of that rectangle, and it's asking for the altitude, which is going to be my H. Alright, and there we have it. So now we want to put a sphere inside of that. To locate the center of the sphere, it's going to be half of L, half of W, half of H. Alright, so a little tricky to put this point in, because you have to use the arrow tool to get out of the fractions. So it's going to be L divided by 2. And then I'm in the bottom of the fraction, so I use the right arrow tool to move it to the right of that fraction so I can put my comma. And then it's going to be the width divided by 2. And again, my right arrow tool to get out of the fraction denominator, comma. And then it's my height divided by 2. And then I can just press return. Alright, so I have my center there. It looks like it's capital M for my center. I now want to find the minimum of the list of those values. Alright, so I'm going to go minimum by starting to type that. And I'm going to select the third one down, minimum of a list. Alright, and lists are contained in braces and separated by commas. So I have to find the braces, and if I go to the f of x menu item, I have my braces. Alright, and since it didn't replace list, I'm going to have to delete that in a second. But I'm going to put L divided by 2, W divided by 2, H divided by 2 in that list. So it's going to be L divided by 2, right arrow to get out of that fraction denominator, comma, W divided by 2, comma, right arrow to get out of the fraction, and then H divided by 2. I see, so I have to put the comma, W divided by 2 again, right arrow before I put the comma in, and now it's H divided by 2. You noticed I had the comma in the denominator. Right. Alright, so the minimum of the list of those values, I press return. Yep, I see what I have. I have to move my right arrow out of the list, and because it didn't replace that, I have to delete that. It should be okay now, and that gives me the minimum of, and that's going to be my radius. So capital M is my center, and G is my radius. Alright, so I can see point M in the 3D mode. I'm tapping the 3D mode window, cancel. I'm going to the sphere tool and picking the second one, sphere with center and radius, and I tap on the center M, and it's asking for the radius, which we said was lowercase g. Alright, now let's see if it works. I go back to my arrow tool. I'm just going to squeeze this window a little bit smaller and move my sliders. My rectangular prism is getting larger and the ball is staying inside of it. Going to the 3D window and rotate just so I can see, because one side of the sphere should be touching the sides of the prism, and that should be the smallest. And no matter how I move those sliders, it should always be contained. Okay, good task.